So we'll be seated briefly, and you can continue to be in the seat if you choose to. It will be easy to just modify what I'm doing. But we'll stand for most of the class and then sit back down at the end for a little guided meditation. Um, as we start today, just a breath practice, and we're adding a mudra to the breath practice. And remember, the mudra means it's a way that we hold our hands. It can be other parts of the body as well, but generally, in a yoga practice here in the West, it's a hand gesture. And this is the common one that you will see in a lot of statues in India, um, iconography in India, art in India, and it's called Jnana Mudra. And you just take your thumb and your index finger. It's like you're making an okay sign. You keep the palms up. There's another mudra called Chin Mudra. It's the same thing, only the palms are down. So Jnana Mudra, and I've got my little picture of it there. Looks like that. You lay your hand on your thigh, so you're coming to a comfortable upright seat. It is one that we use a lot in meditation. And this is for wisdom, for seeing your path forward clearly, not only seeing the path forward, but also maybe seeing the ways you shouldn't be going. So we're looking for some wisdom today. We'll do some yoga, but then I'm going to pull in some of the traditional Chinese medicine practices of the white crane. And the white crane represents the metal element, and it represents those same concepts of being able to see your way forward, that your path is easy to follow. So starting with just some breath awareness with Jnana Mudra, so you make the okay sign, and then you place your palms on your thighs, the palms face up, sitting tall, finding the alignment in the spine. White crane has a lot to do with spine, so we'll be moving through the spine today. And just breathe. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. And being aware of the breath, the qualities of the breath. What's your breath like right now? Just notice, step back and notice. And then through this mudra, this gesture that we're holding our hands in, let that stimulate perhaps a question that you might seek some wisdom, some answers to, something about maybe a choice you need to make. Doesn't have to be a big one. Just maybe some wisdom about seeing clearly, something maybe you're struggling with. And that choice is very clear. Sometimes in my life, there are choices, and I don't know if it's, you got to hit me upside of the head. So you're going to ask for clear wisdom moving forward. I'll take just a few more breaths here. Two more. Open the eyes. And before I stand back there, or we start our chair practice, the white crane moves fingers a lot. So there's spinal movement, and our fingers are feathers. So this is a little brain work too. I want you to start with your thumb and swirl your thumb in and down, then follow with the second, third, fourth finger. It's easier to do if you do it faster. So the thumb starts. You're really rotating through the wrist, bringing those wrists inward, but sequentially bringing the fingers in. So you kind of got to think about this one. Brain has to be awake. And notice if the brain wanders, then the hands are going to do whatever they want to do. You might lose this. And then we're going to reverse the direction. So the little fingers are going to lead the way. And for whatever reason, that one's easier for me. This one I could probably do and just think about my grocery list. But that first way, I really have to focus. So moving through the fingers, moving through the wrists. Remember, eventually those fingers are going to represent the feathers of the white crane. And then just a little more, swimming like a squid through the water. Moving through the fingers, spreading the fingers and bending through the joint spaces. And then you can shake the hands. I'm going to stand up and go back to my chair. Make sure you can see me. So again, you can do these things in the chair, but we're just going to stand next to the chair, finding your mountain pose, finding Tadasana. Planting the feet, plant the feet down into the earth, reach up through the crown of the head. Let your arms hang here. Shoulders are heavy. And feel this alignment. If you're in the chair, then you just do a seated mountain pose. Now on your next inhale, you're going to swing your arms up by your ears. This is called Urdhva Hastasana, high salute. And then exhale, just bring the arms back down. Your gaze can go up and down with the arms. Inhale up, look up there, look at your thumbs. And exhale the arms down. Two more like that. Inhale, reach. And exhale down. This time when the arms come up by the ears, we're going to pluck fruit. So like you're underneath your favorite fruit tree and you're reaching one arm at a time. And notice you can reach with one arm and hike the opposite hip up. You get a little crunch on one side, a little stretch on the other. And now bring your hands together slowly. Feel the touch. Focus on the thumbs and bring your arms right back down, hands to heart. So we're going to add a little to this. You can do this in the chair. You can stand next to the chair. You can stand, and I'll do that first time. You can stand so the seat of the chair faces you. It's called a half of a sun salute, so I call it a sun breath. We're going to inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold. If you're in a chair, you're just going to fold forward. My hands are going to come to the seat of the chair. My knees are bent a lot. Elbows are bent. Then as I inhale, I'm going to straighten my arms, straighten my legs. Exhale, fold. Pull your feet away from each other. Swing your arms out and up. Look up there at the hands. Look at the thumbs and bring the hands home to the heart. You can continue with the seat of the chair or in the chair, or take it without the assistance of the chair. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. But I want you to bend your knees a lot. Arms are heavy, head is heavy. Then take your hands to your shins. Straighten your legs, straighten your arms. So my spine is nice and long. And then exhale, bend the knees, pull the feet away from each other, swing your arms out and up. And exhale, hands home to the heart. Let's do a couple more like that. Inhale, reaching up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, we'll lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms out and up. And exhale, hands home to the heart. One more like that. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Bent knees. Establish this forward fold and then straighten the legs. Exhale, fold. Pull the feet away from each other. Let's keep the arms up by the ears. We're just going to take a side bend to the right. Maybe you pull on the left wrist and then up and over, side bend to the left, pull on the right wrist. Let's do two more of those each side. Inhale to center, exhale, fold. Inhale up, exhale, fold. One more each side. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Both arms by the ears. Take your gaze up to the hands. Look at the thumbs. Focus on the thumbs. Bring your hands slowly to the heart. Now we're going to shake. So I want you to start shaking the arms. Remember, these are going to be wings pretty soon. So we're going to wake these wings up. Shake, shake, shake. Shake all the way up to the shoulders. Shake briskly. Really wake the flesh up, the fascia, the energy, the chi, the prana. And then stand on one leg, shake one leg. If you're in the chair, you can just lift one leg. And then the other leg, we're going to shake, shake, shake. This is a good way to release tension, stress that you don't even know you're holding on to. And then just let the arms hang, and we're going to come up onto the balls of the feet and drop onto the heels. So a little impact here. And if you're in the chair, you can just do the same thing. You're just going to lift, and you'll probably want to kind of stomp with the heels a little bit. Let the arms kind of hang and bounce. The head and bounce. They look a little silly with this one. Maybe you smile. And then come to stillness. Notice, hopefully, some energy. Maybe noticing that you're more awake, you're more alert. Now, this next one is called knocking on the door of life. You can do this in the chair. You'll just have to a little more purpose with the arms. But if you're standing with me, make sure you don't hit the chair. And you're going to move at the hips and let the arms come around and tap into the low back, to the waist, to the kidney region. Breath is easy and full, maybe becoming more rapid, increasing the demands on the body, heart's beating faster. Wake everything up. I'll do a few more. And then slowly return to stillness. Once again, with curiosity. What are you feeling? Where do you feel it? How would you describe what you're feeling? Maybe some buzzing, maybe nothing. Maybe you don't notice anything, and that's an observation too. Just breathe. So we'll do a little of the white crane. And again, the white crane has a lot of spinal movements, a lot of wave-like movements. And if you picture a crane or you picture a swan in that long, elegant neck, that's the movement that you're looking for in the spine. We're going to start with the cervical spine first, though. So I'm just going to bring my chin forward, then I'm going to drop it. And then pull the chin back, lift through the crown of the head, kind of pause here. I've got my chin tucked, and I'm reaching through the back of the neck. So I'm lengthening the back of the neck. And then I do that again. I'm coming forward and out, back and up. Trying to isolate this movement through the neck. Cervical spine. So there's 7 vertebrae there. And this can feel good if you've been sitting, you've got that head forward posture. As you pull the chin back and up, you stretch the back of the neck. Now, I want you to pause a second. We're just going to turn the head to the left and do the same thing. That's that same movement. And I'm standing, but I've got a bit of a bend in my knees. Always some softness in the knees. I bring the head forward again, continue. And then turn the gaze to the right, continue. And notice if there's differences left and right. This side on me is more tight, more restricted for whatever reason. Just notice, maybe I need that massage today. And then chin comes forward. And then come back up to neutral. So ears are over shoulders. Now with your feet a little more hip distance apart, and I'll turn sideways so you can kind of see. I'm going to hinge at the hips, bend the knees, and lightly place my hands on my thighs. This is another crane form. It's moving again through the entire spine, that rounding and pulling back. So I want you to start the same way. The chin's going to come forward. And then we're going to round all the way up. So as you're coming back and up, you're in a back bend. Then the chin comes forward. Round the back, come up. Let those arms hang. And we started with the hands. on the thighs, but let the arms just swing. Because in the crane movement, we fly, but that movement should start in the spine. I'll do a couple more. Last one. And then just stand and notice maybe a little more energy in the spine. We're going to add our wings. There's a particular way that we move the hands in this form. So it's really another mudra. So the hands, the fingers are feathers, but when we fly and the feathers go up, you take the index finger and the thumb, and it's almost like you're picking something up. And you'll start to feel a little something, a little pull in the palms of the hands. So my feathers they're firm, but they're not rigid. I spread those feathers. So the index finger and the thumb stimulate the lung and the large intestine meridian, and that's the metal element. And then that pull in the palm of the hand is more reflective of the fire element and the heart. So now I'm going to stand back up there and we'll do a little wing movement. And the first one we're going to do, the wings are going to come forward. So just a small movement, just a small movement. Imagine that white crane standing in the pond, maybe thinking about taking off. And see if you can let the spine start the movement. And then that movement flows into the wings. Now the wings come up a little higher. The white crane is getting a little more serious about taking off. So the movement becomes faster. Usually in Qigong, we do slow movements, but with this one, we can get a little faster and a little more vigorous. Maybe the arms come up high. And then we're going to start to slow it down like you're descending back to the earth. And that picking up movement with the index finger and thumb, spinal movement, shoulders are moving. And then return to stillness with the wings just hanging, a little bend in the knees. And breathe. Notice whatever it is you notice. So as we stand here and pause in between these flows, I'll share a little with you about the white crane. So the white crane can stand on one leg in stillness in the pond or whatever body of water it's standing in for 5 hours in stillness. So the white crane is said to trust that everything it needs is surrounding it in abundance. It just needs to be patient and let what it needs come to it. So it stands there in stillness for 5 hours, waiting for those little fish to come by. And then maybe the white crane can get its breakfast. So let's move to another flight pattern with the wings. This time the crane flies with one arm. So you're going to swing your maybe left arm forward, and notice how I'm twisting a bit. My hips coming forward. I'm still got that rounding of the spine, extension of the spine. The hands are still doing that picking up kind of movement. The metal element represents clarity. So like our jnana mudra, our path forward is clear. The choices are clear. And again, you can get higher with this. So the crane is now moving up, maybe from the pond into the treetop. And then up nice and high. And then the crane decides to come back down. So you slow. Hip comes with the hand. and then return to stillness once again. So also know that the crane can live between 40 and 75 years. And I can't remember which it is. One is averaged in captivity, the other is in the wild, but that's a long time. It can also fly 500 miles at a time. That's a long way. I don't think I would even want to drive my car 500 miles without a stop. So now this crane's going to fly backwards, which means I'm just going to pull my wings back. So now I got a nice back bend, and then I'm going to bring those wings forward, cross your wings, protecting yourself with the energy that you're gathering. You come forward, maybe you change the cross of the wings back, feel that stretch in the chest. Keeping that mudra in the hands. Remember, we're stimulating the fire element, the metal element. And the wings can get a little higher with this one as well. And then start to bring the arms down, slowing the beating wings. And then return to stillness. Pause here. Maybe you notice physical sensations. Maybe you notice the breath. Maybe the energy. Sometimes with the spinal movement in these forms, you develop a warmth along the vertebrae. And I'm feeling like my spine feels a little warmer right now. Sometimes you can feel a little tingling at the crown of the head, the Bai Wei point in traditional Chinese medicine. So just notice what you notice. Now there's one more white crane. Before we sit down and take a little guided meditation, this time the feet are a little more like hip distance apart, and this one can challenge the balance. You can do it in the chair, you can stand next to the chair. Your wings go out to the sides. So more of a traditional sense of flying. You still have that mudra, you go halfway up initially, and then the second time you go all the way up. And then bring the wings down. Now this time when you go halfway up, you're going to shift your weight to your left foot, lift your right knee. So now that crane's standing in the pond, and then step down all the way up and down. Halfway up, we're going to switch weights on the right leg, lift the left, come down all the way up and down. We'll do a few more each side. If you wobble, you wobble. That means you're developing new pathways in the brain, developing your balance. You can slip your breath into this as your arms come up, as the wings come out up, you inhale, and then exhale, sinking down. This will be the last time wings go all the way overhead. And exhale back down. Let's shake a little more, shake those wings out. Return to a comfortable seat. So if you'd like to get your chair back, you can certainly do that. And I'm just going to sit here in front of the computer screen. Finding your neutral spinal alignment. Feeling the sit bones underneath you. And reaching up through the crown of the head, the Bai Wei point, Sahasrara chakra in yoga. And feel that spine being stretched gently in both directions. Now visualize whatever comes to your mind's eye when I mention the white crane. And how would you describe the white crane? The long neck, long, thin legs, beautiful white feathers, maybe elegance, statuesque, regal. What comes to mind? Now visualize that crane standing in a body of water. Perfect stillness. And now perhaps you can become the white crane, feeling your feet in the mud connected to the earth, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your chest as you breathe, but stillness. You're standing in stillness, trusting that everything you need is right around you. And if you're just patient, it will come to you. It will be provided. And you start to stir a bit. And much like one of the flows we just did, we just started with a little movement in the wings. You're just thinking about lifting off, lifting up out of the pond, of the stream. And then the wings beat a little more briskly until you arrive at the top of the tallest tree around you. And you feel yourself perched in the tree, looking around you. Noticing now that your perspective has changed. You maybe feel a breeze that you couldn't feel when you were standing in the stream. You feel the warmth of the sun, whereas in the stream, maybe you were shaded. A different perspective, more information. And now you become restless again and you start beating the wings, and the wings start beating more and more briskly. You're fighting gravity, trying to get way up into the sky. The wings beat faster and harder until you find that altitude where you can soar among the clouds. You're looking down on the earth, and now your perspective is different yet. You have more information than you had when you were in the treetops or you were standing in the water. Feel yourself soaring. Feel yourself banking to the right, banking to the left. Perhaps a little downward dive and then soaring again back up into the clouds. And now the time has come to return to the earth. You start a gentle downward spiral, controlling all of those movements with those big, beautiful wings, until finally you land back in the pond. Wings fold around you. Feet are grounded firmly into the earth, crown of the head still reaching upward. And as you look around you, you notice that your feathers now glow with that energy. The field of energy around you that protects you is now very visible. You can see that it's alive and strengthened. Pause here and take all of that in. As you start to deepen your breath, allow that visual to dissolve. As your mind becomes more aware of your breath, of the movement in your body as you're breathing, bid farewell to the white crane. Know that you can visit that white crane anytime you like. Start wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, maybe turn the head. Bring yourself back to the sensations in your physical body. Bring the mind back here. Let's reach up one more time together. Gather what you need. If you were here with me in Ohio, you'd be gathering rain. It's pouring right now. Exhale, bring hands home to heart. So before we end, just know that as I was studying the white crane, one phrase, one suggestion, one observation really touched me, that the path of a bird isn't visible. It's there, but it's not visible. And we can kind of apply that to our path through life. It's really not visible, but if we're patient, maybe just the right answers come to us. Sometimes we're wrong. We have to turn around and do something else. That's okay. So I hope you have peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed your time with the white crane.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank
Oh,
you so
good. Keep that tucked away, because when you're laying there in bed and you can't sleep, find the white crane and you can do whatever you want. Sometimes those visualizations help me sleep.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Have a
You
great
guys
week.
have a great day. Thank you all.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
You, Cindy.
Bye.
Thank you.